After 23 hours and 57 minutes of racing, Toyota was finally going to win Le Mans. Kazuki Nakajima sat behind the wheel of the number 5 TS50 hybrid, circling the circuit Lasarth with a comfortable lead. One lap remained, just 8.5 miles. 5 minutes of racing between Toyota and the victory that had haunted them for decades. And then the car slowed down. On the Mosane Straight, the fastest section of the track, Nakajima's Toyota lost power. The hybrid system that had propelled them to the front of the field for nearly an entire day suddenly failed. The car that should have been traveling at 200 miles per hour was barely crawling at 40. Commentators fell silent, confused. The pit wall stared at their screens in disbelief. Nakajima's voice crackled over the radio, desperate and bewildered. The Porsche that had been trailing by over a minute surged past. In just 3 minutes, Toyota's dream collapsed. To understand what happened at Le Mans in 2016, you need to understand what Le Mans means. It's not about who's fastest over one lap or who has the best car on a single Sunday afternoon. Le Mans is a test of survival. 24 hours of racing where speed means nothing if you can't last. Where a single bolt coming loose at hour 23 erases everything you built in the previous 22. For manufacturers, winning Le Mans defines legacies. Ferrari, Porsche, Audi, these names carry weight in motorsport because they conquered this race. They proved that their engineering philosophy, their approach to building race cars, could withstand the most brutal endurance test in the world. For Toyota, Le Mans had become an obsession tinged with tragedy. They first entered in 1985 and spent over a decade chasing victory. They came agonizingly close in 1999 when Martin Brundle led with less than an hour remaining, only for his Toyota GT1 to suffer a puncture. They watched from the pits as BMW took the win, adding another year to their wait. After that heartbreak, Toyota withdrew from Le Mans. For over a decade, they stayed away, licking their wounds. But the ache of that unfinished business never faded. When the FIA introduced new hybrid prototype regulations for the World Endurance Championship in 2012, Toyota saw its chance to return. New rules, new technology, new opportunity. They came back in 2012 with a bold hybrid system and the determination of a manufacturer that had been haunted by failure for too long. But Le Mans doesn't care about second chances. Their 2012 return ended in retirement. 2013 saw them finish a distant second to Audi. In 2014, they led before mechanical gremlins struck. Year after year, they arrived with competitive cars, with world-class drivers, with engineering excellence. And year after year, Le Mans found a way to break their hearts. By 2016, Toyota had been racing at the highest level of endurance competition for over 3 decades, without a single Le Mans victory to show for it. Porsche had 17 wins. Audi had 13, all of them coming since 2000. Ferrari, Jaguar, Bentley, Peugeot manufacturers, with a fraction of Toyota's resources, had tasted victory at Lasarth. Toyota was the biggest automotive manufacturer in the world, producing millions of cars annually across every continent. They had dominated rallying. They'd competed in Formula One. They'd proven their engineering prowess in every conceivable way. But they couldn't win Le Mans. And for a manufacturer of Toyota's stature, that absence was deafening. The 2016 World Endurance Championship brought new hope. Toyota arrived with the TS50 hybrid, their most ambitious Le Mans prototype yet. It was a stunning piece of engineering, a 2.4-liter turbocharged V6 producing over 500 horsepower, paired with a hybrid system that recovered energy under braking and deployed it on acceleration. Total system output exceeded 1,000 horsepower. More importantly, it was fast, devastatingly fast. Toyota had learned from its previous failures. The TS50 emphasized reliability without sacrificing performance. They'd refined their hybrid system, improved their aerodynamics, and built a car that could survive 24 hours while still being quick enough to win. Standing in their way was Porsche. The 919 hybrid had dominated Le Mans in 2015, and Porsche arrived at the 2016 race weekend as defending champions with something to prove. Their car was smaller, arguably more nimble, and backed by decades of Le Mans pedigree. Porsche knew how to win this race. They'd done it 17 times before. From the moment practice began, it was clear this would be a two-horse race. Qualifying saw Toyota claim pole position, but only just. Porsche sat within tenths of a second, close enough to pounce on any mistake. When the race began on Saturday afternoon, the battle immediately intensified. Toyota led early, its superior straight-line speed proving difficult to counter. But Le Mans never stays predictable for long. Within the opening hours, minor incidents began reshaping the race. One of the Porsche entries suffered an early issue and fell out of the order. An Audi crashed heavily, removing another contender. Slowly, inevitably, the race was narrowing to a straight fight between the leading Toyota and Porsche. As night fell over the Circuit de la Sarthe, the pressure increased. Night stints at Le Mans are brutal. Drivers hurtle through darkness at speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour. Their only reference points, the marshalling lights and the white lines barely visible in their headlights. It's when concentration lapses, when fatigue sets in, when mechanical issues that seemed minor in daylight suddenly become catastrophic. Toyota survived the night, so did Porsche. By Sunday morning, as dawn broke over the French countryside, only two cars truly mattered. The number 5 Toyota, driven by Nakajima, Sébastien Buemi, and Anthony Davidson, held the lead. Behind them, the number 2 Porsche of Romain Dumas, Neil Jani, and Marc Lieb stalked within striking distance. The gap hovered around a minute, close enough for Porsche to dream, far enough for Toyota to feel confident. Hour after hour, the two manufacturers circled the track, their engineers monitoring every data point, their drivers managing tire wear and fuel consumption with surgical precision. Toyota had been here before. They knew how Le Mans could turn cruel in the final hours, but this time felt different. Their car was running perfectly. No warning lights, no unusual vibrations, no signs of the mechanical gremlins that had destroyed their previous attempts. As the race entered its final 3 hours, Toyota began allowing itself to believe this was finally their year. With 60 minutes remaining, the number 5 Toyota held a comfortable lead of over a minute. Nakajima was behind the wheel, driving with the calm confidence of a man who knew victory was within reach. The pit wall monitored fuel calculations and tire degradation. Everything was optimal. The car would make it to the end without additional stops. Barring disaster, they had this race won. Radio messages between Nakajima and the team carried an almost relaxed tone. They discussed traffic management, reminded each other to stay focused and not to take unnecessary risks. After 23 hours of maximum attack, the final hour demanded restraint. On the pit wall, engineers who had dedicated years to this program watched their data screens with quiet intensity. Some had been with Toyota since the 1990s, carrying the scars and every disappointment since. Others had joined more recently, drawn by the challenge of conquering the unconquerable. All of them sensed the same thing: this was it. Finally, the gap to Porsche remained stable. Every lap that passed was another lap closer to redemption. The agonizing near misses, the mechanical failures, the heartbreak of coming so close only to watch victory slip away, all of it would be erased. In 60 minutes, Toyota would be the Le Mans winners. In the grandstands, fans who had watched this race unfold over an entire day and night began to realize they were witnessing history. Toyota, the manufacturer that couldn't win Le Mans despite throwing everything at it, was about to break its curse. 40 minutes remaining. 30 minutes. 20. Nakajima circled the track lap after lap, his driving smooth and measured. The TS50 hybrid hummed beneath him, every system functioning exactly as designed. The hybrid energy recovery system deployed perfectly, exiting slow corners. The turbocharged V6 pulled strongly down the straights. The brakes responded without fade. 15 minutes to go, 10. And then, with 5 minutes and 3 seconds remaining, with just 1 lap left to complete, Nakajima accelerated onto the Mulsanne straight for the final time. It happened instantly. Loss of power. The engine note changed from a scream to a whimper. Nakajima felt the boost pressure drop away to nothing. The car that had been pulling over 1,000 horsepower suddenly had access to only a fraction of that output. His voice crackled over the radio, "No power, no power." The pit wall scrambled for answers. Data streams showed a catastrophic loss of turbo boost pressure. The air intake system had failed, starving the engine of the pressure it needed to produce power. The hybrid system alone couldn't compensate. It was designed to assist, not to carry the car alone. On the Mulsanne straight, where the TS50 should have been reaching its maximum velocity, the car still ran, still moved forward, but at a pace that would be slow in road traffic, let alone at Le Mans. Behind him, the number 2 Porsche appeared. Neil Jani, who had been trailing for the entire final hour, sailed past the stricken Toyota as if it were standing still. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Neither could the commentators. Neither could anyone watching. Nakajima kept the car moving, hoping desperately that the issue might resolve itself, that some electronic reset might restore power. But the TS50 had lost its will to race. Mile after agonizing mile, he coaxed it forward, watching his mirrors as the Porsche disappeared into the distance. But here's the cruelest part. Toyota wasn't beaten by Porsche's speed. The car must complete its final lap within 6 minutes. This rule exists to prevent teams from pushing broken cars across the finish line hours after the race has ended, claiming a result they didn't truly earn. 6 minutes for a lap that normally took 3.5. Nakajima nursed the Toyota around the remaining 6 miles of the circuit, willing it to survive. He crossed the line after 5 minutes and 59 seconds, just 1 second under the limit. But during the remainder of the lap, that 1 second evaporated. The climb through the Porsche curves, normally flat out in top gear, took forever at half speed. The run down to Indianapolis, the left-right flick through Arnage, the slow crawl up the hill to the Dunlop chicane, every meter was agony. Nakajima gave everything he had. He maximized what little power remained, used every ounce of momentum, and refused to give up. But physics is unforgiving. When he crossed the start-finish line to complete his final lap, the time read 6 minutes and 3 seconds. 3 seconds over the limit. The rules are clear, no exceptions, no consideration for circumstances. If you can't complete your final lap within 6 minutes, you are not classified as a finisher. Toyota had not just lost the race. According to the official classification, they hadn't even finished it. The Porsche that had trailed them for the entire final stint crossed the line 62 seconds later to claim victory. Porsche's 18th Le Mans win. Another chapter in their legendary history. For Toyota, another entry in their catalog of devastation. The footage from the Toyota garage tells the story better than words ever could. Engineers slumped in their chairs, hands over their faces. Mechanics who had worked around the clock for a week stood motionless, staring at nothing. The pit wall, which had been alive with controlled energy moments before, fell into stunned silence. Buemi and Davison, his co-drivers, could barely speak. What words could address what had just happened? In the Porsche garage, the celebration felt almost apologetic. They'd won Le Mans, their 3rd consecutive victory, but everyone knew how. Jani's post-race interviews acknowledged the bizarre circumstances. "We are very lucky," he said. "Toyota deserved this win." But Le Mans doesn't care about deserving. The technical explanation came later. A failure in the car's air intake system had prevented the turbocharger from generating boost pressure. It was a small component, one that had functioned flawlessly in testing, in practice, in qualifying, and for 99.9% of the race. But endurance racing has no mercy for that final 0.1%. In the press conference, Toyota's team principal spoke with barely contained emotion. "This is motorsport," he said, the words heavy with the weight of decades of disappointment. "This is Le Mans." Some observers suggested the team should have retired the car earlier, should have realized it couldn't make the time limit and parked it immediately to preserve a classified finish. But in that moment, with 1 lap remaining and victory so agonizingly close, who could blame Nakajima for fighting to the end? The images from that day remain seared into motorsport history. Speed doesn't win Le Mans. Strategy doesn't win Le Mans. Even perfect driving doesn't win Le Mans. Survival wins Le Mans. And on June 19th, 2016, with just 3 minutes of racing remaining, Toyota's car simply stopped surviving. Epilogue. The story didn't end there, of course. Toyota returned in 2017 and suffered more heartbreak. But in 2018, they finally broke through. They won Le Mans, then they won it again in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. They've now claimed the victory that eluded them for so long, multiple times over. But ask anyone who lived through 2016 and they'll tell you those victories, as sweet as they were, carry the shadow of what happened on that Sunday afternoon at La Sarthe. Because 2016 was beyond a loss. It was the closest anyone could come to winning without actually winning. It was the universe's reminder that in endurance racing, nothing is guaranteed until the checkered flag falls and your car crosses the line within the time limit. Le Mans has produced countless heartbreaks over its nearly 100-year history. Mechanical failures, crashes, strategic mistakes, the race has ended dreams in every conceivable way. But what happened to Toyota in 2016 stands apart. 3 minutes. 3 minutes separated them from redemption, from ending decades of disappointment, from proving that all those years, all that investment, all that pain had been worth it. 3 minutes that felt like an eternity. 3 minutes that broke Toyota. And 3 minutes that remind us all why Le Mans is the cruelest, most unforgiving, most brutally beautiful race in the world. Because Le Mans doesn't care how close you are. It only cares if you finish.